The Full Melt Show is intended for a mature audience. It contains adult themes, adult content, and sometimes adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Full Melt.
New this morning, state officials say they have received hundreds of applications for approximately 30 new licenses for medical marijuana dispensaries. Arizona already has nearly 100 licensed dispensaries. The health department says 9 out of 10 of us live within 25 miles of an operating dispensary.
It's the Full Metal Show.
Are you high? What are you talking about?
This is the Full Melt.
Give me a break.
The Full Melt Show. A marijuana discussion about news, culture, politics, and lifestyle. FullMelt.com. Toll free. 844-420-TALK. 844-420-TALK.
Wow. Seems like I'm a little loud today. All right, turning down the sound. Hold on. If you want to blow everybody out, I've got to speak softly. Carry a big stick of tie. Hold on. Making adjustments. La, 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 la. There we go. Gonna do this. That's better. Okay, see, now I can talk without blowing everybody out. All right, welcome to the Full Melt Show. I'm Steve Green, your host.
And I am the Mad Blaster, as always.
How mad are you, Blaster?
I'm usually pretty mad.
You sound pretty bored, is what you sound. You
I'm
sound
not bored, dude. I'm just tired. It's been a long one.
You got to pep yourself up. I mean, you're behind the microphone, you got to like.
Oh, my bad. Been doing show prep for an hour. My bad.
He's all. Hey, he's over here audio editing it. Is that stuff done yet? Is it 7 o'clock yet?
It's 7 o'clock. Been waiting for it.
All right. So on the program today, we are doing a couple of things. Two guests. The first one we will talk to being. It's got to be. I think it's got to be Jeff Hank. Poor Jeff. It's his birthday today, and that being the case, he wanted to, when he got this brief filed, because he's filing a legal brief. He got one. I'm assuming he'll tell you the story that he got a legal brief filed today, and he shared with me that he'd like to hang out and just like chill out and enjoy his birthday after getting all this. What happened today? If you saw the news story in the Detroit News and the Free Press also had this story. And it was also, I think, in the top 10 Google stories of weed stories today, that MiLegalize was declined by the, it's a special court. What's it called? I don't know. It's a special court that handles the types of claims. Court of claims, that's what it is, court of claims. And so the court of claims today declined their position that, basically your 180-day rule and the rest of our signatures are stale ruling is unconstitutional. Because I think it's the position of MiLegalize that these signatures are allowed constitutionally to be gathered in between gubernatorial elections, which we're right in the middle of. So you could have 4 years to gather them if you wanted to. The state wants to limit our ability as citizens to create legislation by saying, oh, you know what? You got to jump through this hoop, and it's about 350 feet in the air, and we know you'll never be able to jump through it because it's physically impossible to do. And this is what they want to do with these citizens' initiatives, despite the fact that they take up the time and the voluntary cooperation as volunteers of numerous people, tons of people. It's a little bit crazy. And so you're going to have to handle that there, Mad. You're going to have to, take calls and put them on hold there while we're doing this, because I'm sure we're going to get overblown with people today about this subject. Not only MiLegalize, this thing with going on. So what happened at the end of the day is they said your rules, your 108, anything collected over 180 days is stale and can't be counted. And this makes you about 106,000 votes or, signatures short to get this on the ballot. They didn't even bother to go and discount any of the signatures challenging them because they're like, you're already 106,000 short anyways because everything else is too old. And, basically the hoop that made it impossible for people to jump through was a requirement under this stupid. It's really an administrative policy. It's not even a law. I guess it is. It's an election rule, an election board issue. And they're saying, oh, we want you to collect them in 180 days because the idea here is that if you don't collect them in 180 days, anything over that might be so old that the people don't live there anymore, or we need some verification that this isn't a stale signature, that this is still a guy that lives at this address and is registered to vote at this county precinct or whatever, or in this township or in this county. So Jeff Hank's position, and MiLegalize, and that of the people that are trying to get this done, including myself, is that that's unconstitutional. You've got that whole 4-year window to collect them in, and by restricting it so bad that you can't even meet the requirements inside of that 4 years to count the signatures, you're making a move that we actually physically can't make. So I've got a little bit of competition because both of our guests would like to be on tonight at the same time, and I'm hoping I don't miss one or the other from it. Our other guest tonight is going to be the New Jersey Weedman, Ed Forchion. So I'm going to have to... So, Ed, I'm going to have you give me my note. Oh, wait a minute. I got to stop this. Hang on. I was using Siri to text him a voice text because I don't have time to type it. Ed, just send me your number and I'll call you. So I'm not sure if this will work out or not, but that's what we got scheduled. The New Jersey Weedman has had a lot of trouble recently. There's a lot of Facebook. I've had him on the show before, and I don't. If you're not familiar with his story, hopefully Ed will refresh you on, how he came to be in the forefront of the media in the first place, why he's known as the New Jersey Weedman, because there's a big story behind that. And maybe he can save some of that story for Cannabis Cup this weekend, because I'd love to have him on during the show that we're doing at the Cannabis Cup, maybe just to get a longer version of maybe his background, because he's got some fascinating stories. I mean, fascinating stuff. But he's got the New Jersey Weedman has a temple there, right there across from the police station in New Jersey. And right next door to it, he has a place called the Joint. It's the Weedman's Joint. It's a restaurant, and he serves 420 named foods. So you can get like a 420 plate or something. It's fairly funny. They're doing it in. Oh, wait a minute. Siri's listening to me. Everybody's trying to talk to me in the phone at the same time when we're doing shows that are popular like this, where we have popular guests on. Everybody's trying to text me or call me or Facebook me or in some other way message me, and it's just it's maddening. I'm going to have to get a special phone for the show so that when we do this, it's not distracting me. But sometimes, like for our guests and stuff, I need that communication. But from listeners, and you know who you are, I do not. All right, so moving along, the phone number here at the show is posted on the Facebook post that I made earlier. Well, they got a special new live button for Facebook. I didn't notice this. So if you want to go live, you can go there in a different way now. Is 248-278-8067. 248-278-8067 if you want to ask questions of our guests tonight. Jeff Hank, and then the New Jersey Weedman. So I'm going to go ahead and without further ado, I suppose we're going to be running off into the commercial break here. We're not going to have any. So if you want to call and get ready, if you got a question for Jeff about the MiLegalize thing, if he has time to take them, we'll go ahead and take your questions. Again, 248-278-8067. Call during the break, which is upcoming here, and we'll get you on hold for that. Get your call screened and get your question, and then let you come on the air and actually ask him the question. And then later on, when we get our other guest, you can again do the same thing. Assemble during the break. That would probably be the best way to do that. There was a lot of stuff that happened today, just with regards to that whole decision and how it happened. I'd like for Jeff to explain that and kind of maybe run down what that was all about and its implications. Because the story in the press today was, this isn't happening. There was one story that says it's not getting on the fall ballot. I mean, it just outright declared that in the headline, not getting on the fall ballot. And then the other story was highly unlikely that it'll make the fall ballot. I'm a little more hopeful than that, and it's not just because I'm wishing down an empty well. It's because I think the law doesn't stand on the side of those who've ruled so far, and that the press is reporting on. So keep that into mind. You got anything to say before we go to break here? I see what's going on. See, we started about 3 minutes late, so I'm expecting the break's already here.
Oh, got that biological clock.
Oh, I got that clock going. I'm like, oh, where's the break at?
You're not accounting for it.
Yeah, I'm not accounting for our tardiness tonight. There's a lot of stuff happening today. And, of course, I'm still dealing with Cortana and also the stupid Windows 10 on a Windows 7 box. It's an old refurbished Dell. It just kind of wants to stare at you.
It gets us through hard times, Steve.
No, I'm telling you, it wants to stare at you like the squares on the box turtle's back. It just wants to stare back at you. Like it's not going to move until this turtle moves, and you're going to have to do some significant dancing to not get snapped at while that's happening. Just saying. So, other things that are happening, of course, the High Times Cannabis Cup is coming up. That is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to be out there all 3 days. There will be opportunity for fun and shenanigans as we introduce what is hopeful to be. It might be a big flop. I don't know. If it's a big flop, it's a big flop. What are you going to do? I think it makes it intriguing. Will they flop with this, or will it work well? I think it's going to work well.
Flop or not.
Flop it on out. It's our stash man, and the secret stash segment. So at the secret stash segment, we will reveal to you where the stash man is at and what he's up to. And so we hope to entertain you with that this weekend. If it works well, we'll feature it working into the show. If it doesn't, it's going to be funny. I'm just saying what we have planned is going to be hilarious. And it would be funny if we got people listening live at the Cannabis Cup because it could be potentially interactive. So, we'll see how successful we are at that.
Right.
Most of the people at the Cannabis Cup aren't going to be inclined, so to speak, to pop on their headphones and walk around listening to the show. But there might be some incentive if I can talk one of my vendor friends into supplying some kind of significant prize, and we might be able to have some.
There'd be some.
We could have some fun with that.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that that's out of the question. I think that's highly in the question, and I'm just hinting here. So we got 3 days of that. The Cannabis Cup is in Clio, Michigan. That's where we'll be at the booth. The whole thing is medicated. You got to have a card to get in. You will take out of state cards. We do have reciprocity in our state rules. Also, it starts Friday at noon. I'm sorry, at 1 o'clock on Friday, and goes until it closes. Saturday and Sunday, it opens at noon. 1 o'clock Friday, noon on Saturday, Sunday.
Full Melt.
If you missed the last Full Melt show,
you missed a lot.
There's King Tut. You know what I wanted to bring up, King Tut? But they actually dug up in Russia some ancient bongs. They're like 2,400 years old.
Yes, that's fucking awesome.
They're golden.
Oh, my God.
2 ancient golden bongs found in the Arctic tundra of Russia.
They were getting high, man. Yeah.
And I guess they traced it back to the early tribes that populated, the Russian tundra. Those tribes used to war against each other, and they would get high on the opium and the cannabis before going to war. Go figure. I'm just saying, there's somebody was selling golden bongs. And get your golden bongs here, golden bongs. It had to be really hard back in those days to come up with gold, except for maybe Colombian gold.
Oh, my God.
Hey, the trade winds are blowing smoke in your face.
Imagine a world where patients can use marijuana like any other medicine. The Marijuana Patients Organization challenges the status quo by helping our neighbors to enjoy a better quality of life. Visit the MPO at marijuanapatients.org and enjoy informative articles, engaging debates, and information about treatments, doctors, and dispensaries in your area. Over 50,000 people have registered at marijuanapatients.org since 2010. Join us at the Marijuana Patients Organization today, marijuanapatients.org.
When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. based in Royal Oak. David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law
At RudoyLaw.com.
RudoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana.
And up-to-date news.
That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at RudoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you.
What's up with these things, Victor?
We decided to give ourselves stickers for each feature we release.
We read about 10,000 suggestions a week to create features that, as traders, we'd want to use.
10,000 suggestions? Who reads all of those?
He does.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade. You got this.
Wish your skin could bounce back like it used to? Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel instantly quenches skin to keep it supple and hydrated day after day. With hydrating hyaluronic acid, which retains up to 1,000 times its weight in water. This refreshing water gel plumps skin cells with intense hydration and locks it in.
For supple, hydrated skin that bounces back.
Hydro Boost from Neutrogena. See what's possible.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio show.
All right, so it took us a minute to get a little juggled around here. Instead of putting Jeff Hank on, it seems like I'm having trouble getting a hold of Jeff. It is his birthday, in his defense. So he's probably just hanging out, got the phone on hold, and has to wait to get the message, and then he'll have to probably call me back. I'll make further attempts to get a hold of Jeff later in the show. Until then, we've managed to plug into the New Jersey Weedman. Hello, Ed Forchion.
Yep. Hey, how's it going?
It is going really well. Sir, I had to call you and talk to you about the whole tangled mess you have going on up there in New Jersey. Can you fill us in, at least from the point at which it will make sense to our listeners who have no idea what's going on over there?
Well, I don't even know where to start at. So, I'll start right here. I opened this place in Trenton, New Jersey last May 2015. And it's 3 buildings. One building is NJ Weedman's Joint, which is a restaurant. And then there's a middle building, which is Liberty Bell Temple, and it's a sanctuary. I registered it as a church. It's part of my nonprofit that I have, and it's registered as a church with the state of New Jersey. And then and then the third spot is I call it the stash spot. It's like a smoke shop. And I say almost 6 months ago now, on February 28th, I basically got into a pissing contest with a captain on the Trenton Police Department. And again, that's about 6-7 months after I was open. So for about 8 months, we were open, running, no problems with the police. Actually, a few police officers came and ate here, everything. And then,
which was kind of comical, wasn't it? It's kind of comical, wasn't it? Because, I mean, you have, like, weed-themed, like, plates and stuff, don't you?
Yes, everything. The menu, we have 420 and 710 specials. I have a Christie burger. I have a Chiba steak. Ganja this, ganja that. Like, everything on the menu is related to marijuana, even though there was no marijuana in the food.
Right. It's just funny having a local cop sit down at your local eatery there and order weed-themed food. It's just hilarious.
Right. Exactly. So that's how it was from May all the way until February 28th.
And then somebody saw the cop shots of them eating at your restaurant and got pissy, didn't they?
Well, on the 28th of February, apparently there was a fight around the corner somewhere. It had nothing to do with us. There was a fight. The police showed up for that fight and then came over here and told me to close. And I have to tell you, a restaurant in this city they have a curfew at 11 o'clock. All businesses are supposed to close. That's a whole other story if you want to hear that. But all businesses in this city at 11 o'clock are supposed to close unless they're regulated through a state agent, like a gas station, like bars. Gas stations and bars are exempted because they're regulated by the state. But anyway, they came here after 11 and was telling me that I had to close. I had about 50 people here.
Now, you're talking about the temple, or you're talking about the restaurant? The restaurant's already closed, right?
Well, this is what I was going to say. The restaurant was closed.
Okay.
They were in my sanctuary, and, like I said, it was after 11. The police showed up arguing to me that it was a business, I had to close after 11. And I said, sure, this, NJ Weedman's joint, is a business, but right here, the sanctuary is a religious organization, a house of worship. I registered it that way and everything. And I don't have to close at any particular time.
Right.
And no.
And
I said no.
Well, wait, Ed, can I ask you this question? Is there like a local Catholic church that's open all the time where you can walk in there at any hour up and down the street there somewhere? Yeah.
Of course. There are.
So you're just asking for So you're just asking for equal representation under the law.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But up until this point, I had no problems. All of a sudden, bam! And when the police showed up, they showed up 21 police officers and a dog, and they were being real intimidating. And basically, they told me to close, or they would come in and throw everybody out. I closed the door in their face. I went back in. I told everybody what they said, and I gave them the option to leave. I said I wasn't leaving.
Right.
And about 40 people did leave. 35, 40 people did leave, and about 10 or 15 stayed inside, including me. The police stayed outside for a few minutes, and then they left. The people who were outside left. So it was like they did a big bluff, but they terrified people. They were threatening to come in. And so people left, and there were a lot of people here who were smoking marijuana, this, that, and the other. That night, after those 40 people left, there was like joints and blunts and bags of weed everywhere. Because nobody wanted to go outside with the police outside.
They just left it all behind.
Right, so everybody left their bags of weed and left. But anyway, that Wednesday, right after that, I think it was like March the 3rd, a female police officer came, and she, you have to remember, I was making a reality show here, so there was 27 cameras here, videotaping every single room, outside, inside.
Now, wait a minute. Now, tell people about the reality show. Give them a little insight to what that is, as much as you can. Some of it you probably can't talk about, but...
Well, a few months before, I got this idea to, we got something unique going on here. Let's make a reality show out of it. I tried to do it before, even if you call it a reality show, a scripted show, a real show, whatever.
It's kind of like Marijuana Big Brother, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was trying to do. In fact, that was the exact, you ever see that show, the reality show Big Brother or Cribs or any of those shows?
Right.
The whole house is cameraed up.
Look, why wouldn't you do that? It's a great idea.
Yeah, so that's how this place was, where I can take clips anywhere and use them and grab somebody and say, hey, when you get in a hot box right here,
right?
And just tell me what just happened or whatever, and I can take
it's kind of like the marijuana confessional.
Exactly, that's exactly what we were doing.
I love it.
So right in the middle of this, now all of a sudden I have this police action. Of course, it's all videotaped. I'm thinking this is great for our editing. And stuff,
hell yeah, hell yeah.
Right, so the police come, all that, they threaten us, all that. A couple of days later, this female sergeant shows up. She shows up, and she says, she's like talking to me, like being friendly, to be honest with you. And she's telling me that I pissed off the captain, I pissed off the lieutenant, I should just chill out, just close down, like they've got a bug out for you now. Like, this is what she said, and I videotaped it. And she didn't know she was under all those cameras. And I sat her, like, right in between 3 cameras and 2 audios, so it was perfect edit. I could get a perfect edit shot of her, it was perfect. And, we small talked almost like it was flirting, and she also made a bet with me that I was going to have a problem here. Like, I can't do this at nighttime, this late night thing, and I was going to have a shooting before Labor Day. This is what she bet me, that I was going to have a shooting before Labor Day. So I had it all on video, and I thought it was kind of interesting that she would be betting that. But anyway, the next weekend, which is March the 5th, again, the police showed up, 20-something strong, police dogs, everything, told me I had to leave, told me my business had to shut down 11 per this city ordinance. And
so
I gave him the same spiel. Like, that ordinance is a business ordinance. It had nothing to do with me. I'm not a business. I'm a church, and I'm not closing. I'm a temple. I'm not closing. But again, a bunch of them did leave. But that next Wednesday, on March the 8th, I filed a lawsuit against the Trenton Police Department. And I said that they were harassing me, they were intimidating me, they were interfering with my right to religious freedom and my right to assemble.
Right. At the very least, your right to assemble. It's a freedom of right to freely assemble, just like you would do have a club meeting of any other type or kind. It's not a business; it's a private affair, and it's closed to the public. Well, it could generally open to the public, but it's a closed affair. It's not something happening out on the street.
Right. So about a week or so later, the city responded. Actually, it was a New Jersey state senator took the city's case, as his office is representing the city. His name is Senator Ray Lesniak. Well, his office represents the city and filed a response to my accusation, violation of my religious rights and all that. Their response was, it wasn't a violation of his religious rights because he was violating the business laws and he was open after 11, and they were disputing if I was really even a church or not. They said that I was a cafe, and they said that I was not a church, and they didn't come there because of the business laws about 11 o'clock. They came there because there was a fight. There were 30 people outside, and that's why they came, which was a 100% lie. And I had it all on camera. They came, they threatened, and they told everyone to leave. Then there were 30 people outside. They said they had a report of a fight, and they showed up, and there were all these people outside.
So what they're saying is they twisted the truth. They came there, made everybody leave under the threat that we'll arrest you because you're hanging out in a business that's supposed to be closed. And then when everybody left, then they said, oh, well, now there was a big group of people outside. We were called because there was a fight. We had to break it up.
Right.
Oh, man.
And I turned around to the federal judge and said, they just perpetrated a fraud upon the court. I said, I have cameras. I have 27 cameras, and I recorded everything.
Right.
And that did not happen. What they just depicted happened in their police reports and in their statement to you, Mr. Federal Judge. Wow. They lied. They perjured themselves. They committed fraud. They were attempting to defraud the court.
Right.
This is what I said in my paperwork. Well, instantly, 2-3 days later, I get a letter from the senator's office demanding a copy of all my cameras and all my videos. See, they didn't know that. The police officer probably didn't even know that.
Right.
So now they realize, we told some barefaced lies.
Right.
He's got it all on video.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah. He's making a reality show. Oh, my goodness. So then they went to a state judge and created something. I'm not even sure what they created because they refused to give me any paperwork to fight their charges yet. But they got a search warrant, and then they came in for the search warrant looking for weed. And listen, I call myself New Jersey Weedman. I don't care where I'm at. I'm going to have some weed somewhere.
Right.
And they did. They found about 6 ounces. They told the newspapers they found $19,000 worth of weed, but it was 6 ounces, and 6 ounces isn't even worth $1,900, let alone $19,000. But
talk about telling a whopper, you know?
Yeah, because they were trying to just make me look bad,
right?
Publicly. So then, but what they really did was they stole my camera system. They took the camera system. They took my hard drives. They knew I was in here editing and working on stuff. I had put a couple little things on YouTube and on Facebook. But the vast majority of the video, what I was working on, was on my hard drives and on the DVR for the system. And they took all that, and they were laughing about it. When I was at the police station in handcuffs, tied to a bench, there was this Sergeant Ray who specifically was giggling at me and telling me, "Well, I guess you won't have that video for the newspapers," because what happened was I had a few days before that, I had gave a copy of a clip to the newspapers and had a picture of the police at my door when they were 20 strong at my door. I'm like, this is how the police are wasting their resources trying to stop me from selling chicken wings after 11 o'clock.
Right.
And I kind of thought it was funny. I made a hashtag, no chicken wings after 11 o'clock, 11 p.m. If you can look now, hashtag, no chicken wings after 11 p.m. and I thought it was funny. And I took off of my camera system. I got very good digital pictures of these 20 police officers at my front door.
Right.
And that was the front page of the newspaper. So now, after they raided me, when I was in handcuffs, this was on April 27th, they were laughing about it and telling me that I guess you won't have no video tomorrow, will you? Stuff like that. But to me, this was like an illegal seizure.
It is an illegal seizure.
I filed a lawsuit against you. I said all these things were happening. I had it on video. I complained to the judge that I was videotaping everything the police did. And what do the police do? They come and steal it all. They take it all. So it's an issue in federal court now. It has been. They actually tried to get the case thrown out, and the federal judge said no. We have a next hearing in federal court in September to proceed. And one of the things is I'm demanding all of my camera systems back, and I think the judge is leaning towards it too.
No, really quick, because we've only got a couple of minutes before the break happens, and I'd like to have people, maybe a couple of people want to ask you questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem.
So there's some callers that are interested in talking to you. But can you give us a brief, because you not only lost your video system, which I did not know about based on your Facebook post, so I didn't realize that happened, Weedman, or Ed, however you want to call you.
Either one. I answer to both.
Okay, cool. So
make sure you call me when the joint's being passed.
Hey, I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to come out and visit. I really want to come to New Jersey, to Trenton, and check out your place. I think it would be a fascinating. We could do a show from there. I know you do your own show from there sometimes, and it would be.
Well, I would love that. I have to tell you, man, it's becoming a destination place for a lot of potheads. I know potheads or cannabis consumers, whatever, they're coming in New York or Philly or whatever. They're like, I got to go up to New Jersey to Weedman's place. I'm this close. So I've actually had some people from all over the country, or this is like a destination spot now.
So I want before we go to break, because it's going to happen any second here. I want to come back from the break, and we'll talk a bit about what else you lost, and then we'd like to take some calls. So hang on for the New Jersey Weedman, Ed Forchion, on the Full Melt Show live, coming up next.
You're getting the Full Melt.
If you missed the last Full Melt Show,
you missed a lot.
In Sanilac County, the police took plants that just got cut down, took the big stalks, went and laid them out, dried them out, and then trimmed up the marijuana and put it into jars and used that against somebody in the court of law. So it's we're paying police officers to trim marijuana now.
For their pretend caregivers. They got on their little maid's outfits, and they got their little gloves on and their little scissors, and they're all happy playing with the weed.
The Full Melt Show is live 7 to 8 Eastern on thefullmelt.com.
Attention. Get ready to write down a very important number.
Michael does not know how to fail. Second place is loser.
If you have a medical marijuana case and need legal representation, call the best, attorney Michael Comorn.
He's very passionate in the courtroom.
Getting the best outcome requires quick legal action, and it needs to start with one call, toll-free, to attorney Michael Comorn. 800-656-3557. Write it down, 800-656-3557.
Michael Comorn gave us our life back.
Attorney Michael Comorn. Vigorous criminal defense.
Ram trucks are reaching new heights when it comes to capability and efficiency. The Ram Heavy Duty is the most capable full-size pickup on the road today. And the Ram 1500 is the most fuel-efficient full-size pickup ever. So what does that mean? It means Ram trucks are built for the long haul. Ram, America's longest-lasting pickups.
RootMetrics, in the nation's largest independent study, tested wireless performance across the country. Verizon won big with 153 state wins. AT&T got 38, Sprint got 2, and T-Mobile got 0. Verizon also won first in the U.S. for data, call, speed, and reliability. AT&T got text. Stuck on an average network? Join Verizon, and we'll cover your cost to switch.
Introducing Sacred Elements, a place for natural and alternative healing for the mind, body, and soul. Sacred Elements. It's one place, all solutions.
Registered, licensed, certified, ordained.
Sacred Elements.
Massage, hypnosis, Reiki.
Sacred Elements.
Raindrop, aroma and color therapy, body detox, ministry, life coaching, weight and nutrition counseling.
Sacred Elements. Next to the Sweet Leaf, 400 South Dorr Highway, Flint.
11 to 7 daily, closed Sunday.
Call 810-259-2570.
Play-Doh Compound can help kids practice communication skills. Start by presenting the visual of the letter or word. Then ask them to mold the Play-Doh compound into the shape of the letters. It's an effective way to foster speech and even writing.
Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience, bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Dorr Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571.
My name is Kubo.
When people say Kubo, they're talking about the best animated movie of the year.
Whoa, show off.
Kubo is captivating.
You got my attention.
Kubo is charming.
Don't even.
Grumpy monkey.
Kubo is an unforgettable adventure that will delight fans of all ages.
Like me?
Yes!
Oh boy.
Kubo, in theaters and Real D 3D, rated PG.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio show.
All right, so we're on the phone with Ed Forchion, the New Jersey Weedman. He was filling us in about his crazy antics with the Trenton, New Jersey police. But there's some other stuff to this story, and it goes back to Chris Christie and his days as the Attorney General there in New Jersey, and then you went to California and opened a dispensary and did all this stuff. You came back and opened up the weed joint, but weren't you also famous for that crazy van?
Yes, I have a van. I called it the Weedmobile, and in my logic, Batman has a Batmobile.
Right.
Weedman's supposed to have a Weedmobile.
Right, it's like a superhero call to action.
Exactly, and these are gimmicks and they're PR things, but they worked. That van was known coast to coast. It's driven back and forth across from New Jersey to California 3 times. It appeared in all kinds of videos.
Sure.
I've stalked the governor in it.
I love those videos,
knew about
man.
it. The governor gave a whole press conference last year about me and my Weedmobile.
Oh, he right in front of national TV while he's running for president.
Yes. This was slightly before he announced that, but yes.
We're talking about
make national news because that was when he talked about blood money.
Just to fill it up.
Governor Christie made this big statement about blood money. He was talking to me. If you listen to it,
right.
He says, I'm not going to legalize marijuana. He goes, I have a message for Ed and anybody else. I think it's blood money. And then he started talking about blood money.
Just to be clear so people understand, we're talking about Chris Christie.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. Because we haven't said his name yet. I just wanted to drag it out there.
Yeah.
Bridgegate, etc.
Yep, Chris Christie is known nationwide as probably the nation's most ardent pot prohibitionist.
Right.
He's very open about marijuana wouldn't be legal if he became governor. If he became president, that he would shut down states that have legalized.
Right,
it,
Colorado, beware, because if you make me president, it's all going away.
Right.
We're going to go in and raid the whole state's getting raided.
Yep, and but I had stalked him in my Weedmobile one night. I had audio, a PA system in it and everything, and, it's very loud. In fact, it's just as loud as a police PA system. And I could pull up on somebody a block or two away and talk to them out loud. And, sometimes it's funny to do that. And, I stalked the governor a couple of times in it. And
well, what you did is, wait, just to set people up, I mean, you weren't just stalking the governor. You were hanging out, waiting for him to enter the radio station because you knew where he had to go, and so you could talk to him from across the street.
Exactly.
And bug the hell out of him because you had your Barky dog in there, and you got the Weedmobile, and he's over there. Hey, Governor, when are you going to stop, putting patients in jail?
Mm-hmm. And he responded and everything.
Right, he answered back.
And his response was cool. I mean, he knew exactly who it was once I started talking.
Right.
And the funny thing is, I've been messing with Chris Christie for years, long before he was the governor, long before he had presidential
aspirations.
Aspirations.
He was the Attorney General.
U.S. Attorney when I first ran into him.
Wait, he was a U.S. Attorney?
He was a U.S. Attorney here for the state of New Jersey.
Right. So a federal employee.
And what happened at that time was I had a state official who was threatening to put me in jail if I didn't stop talking about marijuana. And I thought that was outrageous.
It is outrageous.
So I went to the U.S. Attorney, who was Chris Christie, and I told their office, I signed a complaint that under color of law, the state official was threatening to put me in jail if I keep on talking about marijuana. And to me, I was exercising free speech, freedom of expression,
First Amendment,
political expression, all that.
Right.
And this guy is threatening to put me in jail under color of law, like he's a state official. He's threatening to do it.
Right.
So I went to Chris Christie's office. They accepted my complaint and everything. They said they'll investigate it. And I didn't hear anything. And then about a month later, the state official did it. He locked me up.
Whoa.
And I sat in jail for 5 months before a federal judge, acting on my writ of habeas corpus, ordered me released and said my arrest was a violation of my right to freedom of speech.
How many boxes of donuts do you think Christie went through while you were sitting there in jail? Because I'll bet you he's got a stack of them.
Hundreds. But when I got out, the judge ordered me released. I got out. The first thing I did, that first Monday, I went up to his office and said, look, I signed a complaint against him a few months ago, and he did it. They did it. I just got out of jail. And, they contemplated it for a few months, and then they sent me a letter one day saying that they've thought about it. They interviewed everybody. They declined to press federal charges against the state official. So I was really pissed at that.
Yeah,
so
because it's a total violation of your civil rights.
Right, and they decided not to enforce them. And I clearly was locked up in jail illegally.
Yes.
For 5 months. There's no way I can get that 5 months back.
No.
So I wanted charges against the officials that did that. And so I went to his office holding a sign, calling him a fat hypocrite, and I don't know, he didn't like that. I got locked up that day.
So they sent the cops out. Wait! They sent the cops out to rough you up because you had a sign calling Chris Christie a fat bitch.
Yep, I called him a fat hypocrite, and I got locked up that day for a couple hours. Actually, I got locked up twice that day because I did it at lunchtime, and they arrested me, said that I was trespassing, which is really ridiculous because it's federal property and it's a public property.
Right.
And I was just standing in front of his U.S. Attorney's office with a sign calling him a fat hypocrite.
Right.
And it was embarrassing, but it wasn't illegal.
No, in any way.
Right. So, but I got locked up around noon. They let me go around 1. I went. They took my sign and everything, but I had another sign stashed. Someone was supposed to be joining me, and they chickened out. So I had their sign stashed around the corner behind some bushes. So when they let me go, I just went and got my sign and came right back. So I got arrested twice the first day.
They locked you up a second time.
They locked me up, and then they held me until like 6 p.m. until everyone was out of the building, and then they let me go. But I was off on Mondays at that time. So the next Monday I came back, I got arrested again, and they roughed me up the next time. They handcuffed me behind my back, they handcuffed my feet, and they carried me by my handcuffs and by my feet, so it hurt. They bumped me into, the doorway when I went in. I hit the back of the elevator when I went in the elevator.
So you're basically Freddie Gray without a truck.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they did. They gave me the rough kids. So anyway, they did it. It was 4 weeks in a row that I did that, and ultimately, they were roughing me up though. So I did get discouraged from exercising that free speech because they were roughing me up every time they arrested me. They were roughing me up, even though I knew that it was wrong for them to arrest me like that.
Right.
But ultimately, when I went before a federal judge, the federal judge ordered the U.S. Attorney's Office to dismiss the case. Well, actually, at first, he gave them the option to dismiss the case, and they declined to dismiss the case. And then we had a quickie little hearing, and then the judge dismissed the case. So I actually beat Chris Christie years ago. But
you should have filed charges against him, civil charges for depriving of your.
It's called a Bivens suit, and I was trying my hardest to get any lawyer to help me. But see, you have to remember, as the U.S. Attorney in New Jersey, he's the most powerful political person in the state.
Right.
He has the power of the DEA. He has the power of the FBI. He has the power of the U.S. Prosecutor's Office. Very few people will ever go up against a U.S. attorney.
Right.
And that's what happened.
So,
I was talking to lawyers, and they would all say, wow, that really happened? Wow. They could document it. They could see the newspaper articles. They could see everything. But they were afraid of Chris Christie. And Chris Christie, if you're not from New Jersey, you don't know. He's a bully. He's bullied state officials. He's bullied everybody.
This is why Bridgegate was such a big deal, because he bullied people right into causing a problem with ambulances and the interchange between you and Fort Lee, didn't he?
Yes, these are the things that he does. I mean, there's a whole list of state officials who are in jail because he bullied them into jail. There's even some, there's some kids, some Arab kids that are in jail for life here in New Jersey for playing cops and robbers, if you ask me. It's a whole nother story. But Chris Christie is a bug in a suit. And a federal badge.
So really quick, because we're about to hit the break time again. You ended up losing this vehicle in the search, didn't you? When they came and took your cameras, they took your Weedmobile too.
Yep, they took my Weedmobile,
and then they
took my camera system. They took my Weedmobile, by the way.
Ed, wait a second. We're in the break music again, which means we look at seconds before we got to shut up for a second. But they ended up crunching it into a cube. They never gave it back to you. They hid it from you until they got it crunched into a cube, and so you can have it back, didn't they?
Exactly.
All right. So hang on with that. Hang on with that thought. We're going to break. We'll be right back with more of New Jersey Weedman after the break. Hang on.
You're getting the full melt.
Promotional consideration provided by NoSmell.com, pioneering the storage market for cannabis users. The No-Smell patented bag technology offers users 100% smell-proof detection from even the most sophisticated of noses. NoSmell.com, so nobody knows. When placing your order for a no-smell bag, make sure to use discount code FULLMELT and take 10% off the entire order. Learn more about no-smell technology at NoSmell.com. If you missed the last Full Melt show,
you missed a lot.
All right, so there's this idiot reporter out in Grand Rapids today. I saw her on a promo for some show she's doing about kids and drugs, and she's interviewing a policewoman and a prosecutor. Check this out.
Things sound like something that drug addicts would use. Are regular teenagers using butane?
Absolutely.
When you are out there, you're seeing kids are you seeing it younger and younger? Are you seeing it used in homes more frequently? What's actually happening?
Okay, that's a stupid question, you old bat. Can you come up with an original reporter's question, one that somebody can actually answer?
Is it addictive? Is it something that's going to get a kid in trouble? Can people manage their use?
Well, I think that's one of the biggest myths.
Again, I just have to take issue with this. Wood TV in Grand Rapids, this lady needs to study up before she sticks a microphone in an official's face and asks an idiot question. When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. Based in Royal Oak, David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law
at RudoyLaw.com.
RudoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana
and up-to-date news.
That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at RudoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you. Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Door Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571.
My moderate to severe chronic plaque psoriasis made a simple trip to the grocery store anything but simple. So I had an important conversation with my dermatologist about Humira. He explained that Humira works inside my body to target and help block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to my symptoms. In clinical trials, most adults taking Humira were clear or almost clear, and many saw 75% and even 90% clearance in just 4 months.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Ask about Humira, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists. Clearer skin is possible.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio Show.
Oh, Father, tell me, do we get what we deserve? Oh, we get what we deserve. And where down we go.
All right, so we're back on the phone with Ed Forchion in just minutes to spare. Just, boy, at the end of the show here, I might even extend it a little bit if we have to maybe get Jamie Lowell to come on and feed us the detail on what happened with MiLegalize today, because it seems to be about a lot of questions and up in the air. I think I have the answers anyways, but I'd rather have somebody from MiLegalize tell you that. For the time being, we have Ed Forchion on the phone, the New Jersey Weedman, in the middle of this story. Now, they cubed up your car. They didn't let you have access to it until you couldn't figure out that they weren't holding it as an impound and they hadn't seized it. They had just towed it off to a lot somewhere that if you left it there too long, they crunch it up.
Yeah, I was told that they were seizing it as part of asset forfeitures. So, okay, I was waiting for the asset forfeiture case to come along. But in the meantime, they declined to seize it as part of asset forfeiture, and they left it in a lot that's contracted by the city. And that lot, if you leave your car there for more than 20 days, they either they get a what they call a salvage
title, and
they either auction it off or they destroy it. In my case, I had no idea that they were doing this, and my car was crunched up. My van, my Weedmobile, was crunched into a cube. So a couple weeks ago, I get this letter from the city, which was the asset forfeiture paperwork, and it had like money and a couple items on there, but it didn't have the Weedmobile. So I'm like, okay, well, where's the Weedmobile? What's going on with the Weedmobile? What are you doing with that? And they were like, call Hawks Towing. That's where it's at. When I call Hawks Towing, they were like, dude, we crushed it last week. I was like, what? Ah!
Yeah. Oh, what a heart sinker that is.
Yeah, but they didn't tell me. I didn't know.
I already know why the police refuse to seize it, because if they seize it, then they have to either use it or sell it. And if they have to sell it, they're not going to want to repaint it and get all that Weedman stuff off there. So they didn't want to resell it with all that Weedman stuff on there, or give you the option of buying it back.
Right. Well, I was going to be fighting for it to get it back. First of all, when they raided here and they took it, the van wasn't on the property. It was on the property next door. Huh. So they had no right to seize it anyway. Right. And what they did was, I'll tell you, on the 27th of April is when the raid happened, and they seized it. On the 29th, I got out, and I went to get the van and the car and all that stuff and everything else, and that was when I was told that they were seizing as part of asset forfeiture. But actually, that same day, unbeknownst to me, the city had went to a judge and got a new search warrant to seize the van. They forgot to tell the judge they already had it. It was a lie. So So
they screwed up, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we actually caught them in another lie, and then on top of that, they crushed it. You know, and this is just spiteful.
It is spiteful.
And see what happens ever since that day, the 27th. I mean, the February 28th day when the whole thing blew up, and I refused to close, and I talked crap back to the police officers and all that. They just been harassing me. My business is practically out of business because, you know, people are afraid to come here. The whole town knows that I'm at war with the police department. The police department, they stop people that are coming here. They hang around here sometimes. They park right next to it, and no one comes here when there's a police car parked next to us.
Do you think Officer Flowers started all this?
I don't think he started it, but at some point he became a very big part of it. I mean, he's in the paper today, me calling him a pedophile again. So I get nasty looks from police officers now when I'm riding by.
Are they all butthurt because you called Officer Flowers a pedophile?
Yeah, well, the problem is true.
Well, I get that. I'm just saying, but they're all butthurt about it now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I wanted to give people an opportunity now that you kind of got all that out there, because that's kind of the gist of what I know, and I'm sure there's more. We'd love to have you come back and talk to us at the Cannabis Cup, because we filled almost a whole show with you today. I'd like to get some people in if they're still here to participate. I don't know if they're still on the phone or not, but let's give them a show. Oh, so that one's gone. Take that one off. Yeah, unplug that one. Yeah. So that one's on. Let's try this one. We got another one. Hang on. Let's see if we can get this one on. Hello, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Yeah, no, I'm asking the caller. Yeah, are you still? Hello, are you there?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I am.
Oh my goodness! Hi, Steve.
Hey, so were you? You called a long time ago. You called right at the beginning of the show. Were you just calling to listen, or did you have a question for the Weedman? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
I can't hear your caller.
Up in Benzie County, and
hang on.
And I just called to listen, but
that's okay.
New Jersey Weedman, keep up the good fight up there.
All right.
And you're in a sucky state. I know you are.
All right.
But things aren't any better here, I'll tell you. A bunch of my friends, local grower friends here in Benzie County, busted today, and they're still pulling their plants.
Yeah,
so
that's another thing we'll have to talk about before we get off the air here. Maybe you can hang on, and we'll talk about that after we get New Jersey Weedman off the phone. Can you hang on for a second? We'll talk about that.
Sure.
All right, hold on. Just want to put him back on hold. I did have another question for you that my friend Chad wanted to ask. Let me just pull it up here because he texted it to me earlier, and he didn't. He's listening by the phone, and he didn't have a chance to actually call in because he didn't want to miss anything. Bear with me here while I get that. There we go. He says, can you ask Ed if he has any advice to someone like me on how to plant seeds of jury nullification? After all, he's won already. I'd call, but I'm listening with my phone.
I tell you what, the press, go stand in front of the courthouse and pass out jury nullification flyers. And you can get flyers by calling or Googling them. The Fully Informed Jury Association. It's a group out of Montana. It's FIJA, FIJA.org. The Fully Informed Jury Association, and they promote jury nullification. And if you call them and tell them that you will pass out flyers in front of a courthouse, they'll send you a box of them.
That's great.
And if you pass out flyers advocating jury nullification in front of a courthouse, make sure you tell your local newspapers. It is perfectly legal. It is free speech. You're standing in front of a court, public property. But judges and prosecutors will go ape shit nuts. They will go crazy.
No, they will, and in fact, they did. They did actually here, right there in the Oakland County Courthouse. Now, Oakland County, if you don't know much about Michigan, Oakland County, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is not, if the largest, one of the very largest sheriff's departments in the entire country. Oakland County is the seat of where most of the money from Detroit ended up landing. Let's just put it that way. All the wealthy people from Detroit ended up in Oakland County. Detroit itself is in Wayne County, adjacent to Oakland County. So I live in Oakland County and am overseen by the Sheriff's Department, who I've had to sue here on previous occasion. It's probably the only reason that I didn't end up in a situation like you did, because I did actually go after the Sheriff's Department and got a settlement with them. Then the system will leave me the hell alone. That we know who each other are, and we're fine with that. That you're not going to continue to try and call me a criminal because you already know. And so that's the only way I could get them to back off, is to file suit against them as individuals. Because when they go in there doing that kind of crap, they're doing it without their badge. When they start acting outside of departmental rules, when they start acting outside of the law and their duties, they are indeed taking those actions without those authorities and are doing them as individuals and can be held just as responsible. So just that being said, the Sheriff's Department here, Oakland County, what was I telling? I'm trying to tie the. Why are we going after Oakland County?
The wealth? Is that
the money, the wealth? Suing the Sheriff's Department.
I know when you do stuff like that, you pass out flyers and stuff.
Oh, I know. That's what it was. That's what it was.
The Sheriff's Department or whoever are going to get sicked on you by the prosecutor's office. Who are going to tell the officers who are dumb. They're going to tell them that you can't do that. And the officers being dumb, they're just going to come out there and tell you to leave, and they'll get mad when you resist.
No, they weren't even doing that, Ed. What they were doing at the when we started, prosecuting cases on medical marijuana patients and caregivers here, which are basically just usually old and sick people, they were actually out there undercover getting evidence so that they could threaten you with arresting you for passing out these materials, violating the law somehow. And it's nonsense. And they would probably try and make out of them what they did to you out in front of the would-be governor's office, the U.S. attorney, Chris Christie.
Right.
So, gosh, I have to thank you for coming on the show today. I really appreciate you doing that, and I wish you good luck. And I'm following you from afar, so every time you post something, I'm watching it.
Okay.
And I appreciate everyone.
I seem to have a pretty good following like that. When I post something, it gets 100 shares, 50 people share it, it goes all over. And, I have a lot of media people on my Facebook page. I mean, that's why I constantly have newspaper articles that go all over the place. And, Vice TV, by the way, has been covering my case. They've been coming here videotaping, getting different sides of it. And about 2 weeks, I don't have a date yet, it's going to be on Viceland, that this whole battle of N.J. Weedman versus the state of New Jersey is going to be featured. And it's going to be from our perspective, I believe, too.
Viceland. I got to watch that. You're going to get me hooked.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Actually, Vice is good. They're really good. They started out as an HBO show, and now they have their own network.
Yeah, that's really badass. You know who's behind that, don't you know? You know who produces Vice?
No, who?
It's Bill Maher.
That's Bill Maher that does that?
Yeah, Bill Maher produces it. He's an executive producer of Vice.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, hey. I always knew I tried to get on Bill Maher's show a couple of times. I even went to some tryouts because, he does these things where every now and then he gets his guests. You can be one of the guest hosts. And every time he comes to Philly, I would go and try to be one of his guest hosts, and I just never seem to make the cut. I think I do well.
I think you would too. I think you got all. I think you got all the clock spells, gongs, and whistles are all there, Ed.
Say that again.
I say the clock spells, gongs, and whistles are all there. You got it all. I think. I think you'd be fine, and there'd be a water off a duck's back to you.
Yeah, all the local newspapers cover me. I speak well. The local radio stations, whether it's in Philly or New York, I appear on all of them locally. Like people are like, they can't believe that I get so much press time, and I'm not actually like a member of the press. I mean, for 2 years, one of the local newspapers actually even let me write a column that they paid for.
Right.
But recently they let me go because of all the hassle I was in with the law enforcement, and they said that they didn't want to turn their paper into the Ed Forchion press, into the Ed Forchion press, So they had to remain objective as I'm fighting these charges, and they want to report on it as news, and I was okay with it.
They can't really become advocational, so to speak. So, I guess that's all we got for you. Now, do you have any interest? What are you doing this weekend? Do you have some time on any 3 of the weekend days, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, to join us? Maybe and give us any updates or fill us in on other stories. Your stories are fascinating.
Yeah, anytime you want. You tell me.
Well, I'll
we'll figure it out. But I'm always down. It's nothing but a phone call to me.
Hell yeah! All right, well that's awesome. Thank you, Ed Forchion. And keep up what you're doing. Look, you represent a lot of things to a lot of people out there, and you know, you're inspirational to those people. And I think a lot of them would be left in a weird place if people like you and me didn't stand up and middle finger the FTP. That's what I say.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, brother. We will talk to you soon. I'll call you this weekend.
All right, now peace.
All right, brother. Thank you. It's amazing. Ed Forchion is amazing. And I think it's a shame because, you know, I thought one step ahead. That story he told you about them stealing his cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
When the police were here doing this kind of stuff, same kind of crap. I already told him. I said, listen, everything that you just said to me is proof beyond a reasonable doubt that you're violating the law. And you know what? You can't. It's been recorded, and you can't take it away from me by seizing my cameras and my equipment because it's already been uploaded to the internet.
Yep.
You're screwed. They all tucked their tails between their legs and kind of
sort of
hunkered down because they knew I had them by the short ears. Yeah. Oh, so we got to get to a couple things cleared up, and so we're extended in time on the show today. What I'm going to do is we're gonna have another little break here, and when we come back, I'll have Jamie Lowell on in place of Jeff Hank because it seems that Jeff is lost in birthday land. Unfortunately, he gave me a number that is going to like a message machine, and I'm not getting a call back. And it's just because if I that was not good. If I was celebrating my birthday and didn't want to be bothered, I'd probably have it on the message machine too. So that being said, we'll head off to the break. If you've got a question or a comment, we can squeeze you in at the last minute here. I'll give you the phone number. Where the hell did it go? It is 248. Oh, where's it at? Got to look it up again. 248-278-8067. 248-278-8067. Steve and Matt Blaster, who's been very quiet through the show, coming back after the break with more on the MiLegalize front. Stick around.
You're getting the full melt.
If you missed the last Full Melt show,
you missed a lot.
In Sanilac County, the police took plants that just got cut down, took the big stalks, went and laid them out, dried them out, and then trimmed up the marijuana and put it into jars and used that against somebody in the court of law. So it's we're paying police officers to trim marijuana now.
For their pretend caregivers. They got on their little maid's outfits, and they got their little gloves on and their little scissors, and they're all happy playing with the weed.
The Full Melt Show is live 7 to 8 Eastern on thefullmelt.com.
Attention. Get ready to write down a very important number.
Michael does not know how to fail. Second place is loser.
If you have a medical marijuana case and need legal representation, call the best, attorney Michael Comorn.
He's very passionate in the courtroom.
Getting the best outcome requires quick legal action, and it needs to start with one call, toll-free to attorney Michael Comorn. 800-656-3557. Write it down, 800-656-3557.
Michael Comorn gave us our life back.
Attorney Michael Comorn. Vigorous criminal defense.
Ram trucks are reaching new heights when it comes to capability and efficiency. The Ram Heavy Duty is the most capable full-size pickup on the road today. And the Ram 1500 is the most fuel-efficient full-size pickup ever. So what does that mean? It means Ram trucks are built for the long haul. Ram, America's longest-lasting pickups.
RootMetrics, in the nation's largest independent study, tested wireless performance across the country. Verizon won big with 153 state wins. AT&T got 38, Sprint got 2, and T-Mobile got 0. Verizon also won first in the U.S. for data, call, speed, and reliability. AT&T got text. Stuck on an average network? Join Verizon, and we'll cover your cost to switch.
Introducing Sacred Elements, a place for natural and alternative healing for the mind, body, and soul. Sacred Elements. It's one place, all solutions.
Registered, licensed, certified, ordained.
Sacred Elements.
Massage, hypnosis, Reiki.
Sacred Elements.
Raindrop, aroma and color therapy, body detox, ministry, life coaching, weight and nutrition counseling.
Sacred Elements. Next to the Sweet Leaf, 400 South Dorr Highway, Flint.
11 to 7 daily, closed Sunday.
Call 810-259-2570.
Play-Doh Compound can help kids practice communication skills. Start by presenting the visual of the letter or word. Then ask them to mold the Play-Doh compound into the shape of the letters. It's an effective way to foster speech and even writing.
Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience, bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Dorr Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571.
My name is Kubo.
When people say Kubo, they're talking about the best animated movie of the year.
Whoa. Show off.
Kubo is captivating.
You got my attention.
Kubo is charming.
Don't even.
Grumpy monkey.
Kubo is an unforgettable adventure that will delight fans of all ages.
Like me?
Yes!
Oh boy.
Kubo in theaters and Real D3D. Rated PG.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio show.
All right, so we're back here with Jamie Lowell on the phone right now. Welcome to the program, Jamie.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
No, for sure. I wanted to bring you on because we were going to originally talk to Jeff Hank, but you know it's Jeff Hank's birthday today, right?
I do. I do now.
You didn't know it before?
I probably did this morning because of Facebook or something, but I was, of course, thrown off and, having to deal a little bit with the events of the courts today and so forth.
So this business this morning came as news, and basically what did it say? I've already told people, but just refresh.
Well, the Court of Claims sided with the state, saying a few things, citing a case in Consumer Powers, which, and if you had Jeff on earlier, maybe he mentioned.
No, I didn't. Wait, Jamie, I never had Jeff on. We were supposed to have him on, but he disappeared. He wasn't available.
I thought maybe he was on, and then you couldn't get him back or something. Okay. The judge seemed to kind of, in my opinion, and he would give an actual legal analysis as a lawyer, but the judge kind of, passed this on to the Supreme Court. Now, if we would have gotten a good ruling, there's a good chance that it still go to the Supreme Court. We'd rather have the good ruling, but likely it's ending up with them to make a final decision regardless. So this is where we're going to be. We're filing tomorrow morning, and we think that these issues are very ripe for the Supreme Court. We still stand behind our position legally and our arguments, and we'll hope that they take it and run with it quickly so that we still have a chance to get on the 2016 ballot.
So basically at this point, I mean, the newspapers are reporting, I mean, they've already put up, a headstone, a tombstone on the MiLegalize attempt.
Yeah, well, that's where it is right now. I mean, according to the Court of Claims, we were denied, and there was some reasoning that we don't believe fits. As I started saying before, the Michigan State Supreme Court case on rebuttable presumption that had to do with constitutional amendments, not statutory initiatives, like the one that we are trying to get through. He also made mention of the QVF not having a history of the person's voter registration.
The qualified voter file, the electronic voter file, the qualified voter file.
Yes, qualified voter file. So that's not true. He mentioned how he couldn't really compel the BOC to do things anyway. He doesn't. I mean, in other words, he gave a jurisdictional question of what he could do. Then he didn't really acknowledge the arguments we were making, the pertinent arguments on.
So you never responded to the actual complaint.
Yes, and so it seemed as though he was teeing it up for the Supreme Court, where we all knew it was going to go. Rather go there with the wheels already in motion and counting starting and all that kind of stuff, and having to go force that, but that's where we are. We all knew we would get there.
So basically,
have a good situation.
Basically, the judge and MiLegalize are in the shower together, and he got tossed a slippery bar of soap, and rather than handle the bar, he just tossed it off to the Supreme Court, is what you're saying.
That's what it seems like to me. Again, a lawyer perhaps involved, Jeff, for example, might give you a deeper legal analysis as to what he thinks is going on. But the judge was not particularly nasty, wasn't damning, didn't really go out of his way to say we were wrong. In fact, said that we had thoughtful arguments. Again, said that he has to abide by the Supreme Court. We don't believe his interpretation of that case was accurate, so that's ripe for the Supreme Court to look at. And we think that we're all set for them to want to look at this. And it's got a lot to do with the ability for people to participate in the democratic process, even though it directly concerns a question about bringing more sensible cannabis policy to the state. It really affects everybody, so we believe that the Supreme Court will take it seriously.
Wow. Well, so I am correct in my position, that the fat lady hasn't sung yet, has she? I mean, really, we're at the end of the last act, but there's an encore coming, isn't there, Jamie?
Yeah. Had we been successful in the court of claims, the fat lady would not have sung yet either. Because Shooting Company would have been trying the same venue that we're talking about now. In fact, they are doing it for the issue of straight ticket party voting. And we also and that's in federal court, we also may be involved in a federal court scenario, too, that's just been discussed.
Wow.
Details aren't known, but there could be some avenues there.
Wow.
And, of course, this case could bypass 2016 and go to the United States Supreme Court to be settled, and we may be on the 2018 ballot without having to petition again. That's a weird little quirk that could come out of all this.
Yeah, that would really suck, though, because that would be a gubernatorial election where you're much less likely to have the number of voters turn out to get this done the way that we did during the 2008 cycle and got the medical marijuana law passed.
That is true. That's true. However, the state, I believe, took kind of a risk when they decided to really challenge us. There was a negotiation possible at one time that would have been, we'll drop the suit if the state just counts the signatures. And they chose not to do that. If we're ultimately successful, whether before the 2016 ballot or not, that's going to clarify policy, and that would mean it's easier for grassroots organizations to be engaged in this process. And so the other thing is, if it does get pushed to 2018, it changes the policy, and it brings the issue of cannabis to the gubernatorial elections, which, even though there's more apathetic voters for that particular election round, this issue could help to bring a lot of people out. And as we all know, Shooty could be on the same ballot, and more people who come out in support of cannabis are not necessarily going to be in support of Shooty. So I think they took kind of a calculated risk when they decided to challenge us, but we'll see what the turnout is.
It's like watching a soap opera, Jamie.
It's weird. It's going to make a good made-for-TV movie someday.
Who's going to play Bill Shooty? Brad Pitt?
I hope not.
I don't know. Who would be a good Bill Shooty? I think if I was nominating parts, who's the guy with the crazy hair look, the white-haired hair? He's got the mug shot. The guy that was on the motorcycle and almost spilled his brains. The actor I'm talking about? Oh, who am I talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, crap. I'll come up with it later. I'll Google it while we're talking. Maybe
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. He can make faces. Really?
Yeah.
Well, like I say, I don't think the fat lady sung here. I think you're right. I think there's going to be a lot more to this yet to come, and we'll see what shakes of it. I mean, we're either going to get the crappy end of the stick or we're going to get the really good end of the stick. We're about to find out.
There's so many compelling things in our argument. It's so hard to believe that the judge could just not, deal with them.
All right.
And it's going to be particularly ridiculous if the state Supreme Court doesn't pick up on it. And those guys
Jamie, we're out of time. We got to run.
Okay.
Until tomorrow's show, I'm Steve Green.
I'm the Mad Blaster.
We'll see you next time on The Full Melt Show.
The Full Melt Show is a production of TFM Media.
It's Gary Busey. I forgot. Dude, I forgot to... Are you still there? Hello?
He's gone.
I think he hung up. I wanted to talk about...
How to use this now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It starts to fire up.
You
I got to shut us off. I didn't do it last time.